You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, everybody, we're live now. This is, I believe, my episode 4 now, Behind Barz podcast. Again, the name, if you guys don't catch it yet, we go behind the bars, behind the music, with creators, engineers, producers, songwriters, artists, all the likes, and get everybody's perspective of it. Again, it's easy to go on YouTube and see, what Jay-Z's talking about or what Mike Dean's talking about mixing or what this big producer is talking about producing a big record, but we don't hear a lot of the guys that are trying to get to that next level. So that's what we do here is we go in depth with people, get their side of the story, may help you out, may not, but just have good convo about music. So we'll get this started. Here today, I've got Sandoval. I said that right?
Yep.
Right? And Lylez.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. No, if you guys want to go ahead, we can, start it off. If you want to give a quick little intro to yourself, your social media, kind of what you do, your background, whatnot.
Sure. But before we do that, I just want to say, everybody go follow Joe Delfino, Miller Street Studios. Go like the YouTube page is going to be there later. Please, please, please. This is something that he's doing, and it's great because it's needed, like he said.
Thank you.
So again, my name is Sandoval. That's the way I say it in Spanish.
Yes.
So my Instagram is MCSNAPP, McSnap, with a P at the end. When it first started, it had nothing to do with MC Snap. That's what people think. It just had to do with taking pictures.
I thought that did.
And then Facebook is just Marco Sandoval. And then Twitter's at Rio Sandoval. So I've been doing music ever since I can remember. A little background about myself. I grew up in the church. My father was a sound engineer. So every time he had to put the mics together, set up the instruments, I was always there behind him. So I saw that scene of it. He's not a musician, but in my side of the family, I'm half Mexican, Puerto Rican. On my mom's side, all my uncles are musicians and she's Puerto Rican. So I took the instrument side from there. I played the drums, guitar, bass, dabble a little bit with the keys. I started everything backwards. I should have started with the keys. And I've been doing music ever since I can remember. I didn't do it seriously until I was in high school, about my junior year. I took a creative writing class and kept on going with it. Growing up, I always did small rhymes here and there in Spanish, just joking around. And my mom used to get annoyed by it, but I didn't know that was me starting, just my mind putting things together and coming with it right at it. I was very witty. So you could tell I was freestyling, like with a comeback to my mom. So that's how it all started. Nice. So that's since high school. I'm 32 now. Jesus. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing this for a while. Started some hip hop groups here and there. Shout out to Hector. Mm-hmm. And I don't have any albums, but I have a ton of songs that are not recorded. And Hector knows about this. And back then we recorded with instrumentals that weren't ours.
Yeah.
So, I can't really release that content. Sure. But that's, in a nutshell, where I'm at right now.
Nice.
For sure. What's up, everybody? My name is Lylez. Like Marco said, man, y'all go follow Miller Street Studios, man, and follow Joe Delfino, man. This is a dope opportunity, man, and continue to follow him and everything he's doing in the journey that he's had for the studio and future endeavors for students and artists that come through. My real name is Darius Lylez. I go by Lylez, and I used to go by the name Church, and that came from high school. And I grew up as a preacher's kid. My father was a pastor. My mom was the first lady. This was like, Baptist church. And, so like I was in the marching band when I was in high school, and I could never make the Sunday performances, right? And people started calling me, preach or, big homie or something like that. And I accepted big homie because I was a little husky then, right? And somebody called me church one day, and I was like, okay, that works, But only like a certain amount of people know me as church, when I first started out in music. I was about, I want to say 17. And 18 is when I became into myself as I would consider a singer, right? Out of high school, I was in a boy band. It was called Changes. It was 3 of us. My brothers, Kenneth Ellis and Dontrell Bell. Okay. And we went to Corliss High School. Shout out Corliss. None of y'all may not be from Corliss, but I'm putting y'all out there. But through that time, our manager at that time, he worked at the school, Tyree Horn, and he put us in studios and, just basically just told us, you guys need to hone your crafts here. Stay in the studio and you'll hone your craft. And we definitely did that. We came out with a couple songs. Didn't do so well, but, we thought that, and now that we look back on it, it's like, I'm like, yo, I could have been better. But throughout high school, I went to Columbia College.
Nice.
And Columbia, I found a medium there because there was a lot of people that was like doing the same thing I was doing. So I was happy about that. I've never been to a performing arts school before where everybody is dope. It just was far and few here and there, right? And so, I didn't finish Columbia. I'm looking forward to it though. But out of Columbia, I felt that I'm already doing what I needed to do as far as music goes. I had opportunities as a young child, doing stage plays. I started off as a young actor. I played Thomas Dorsey, who was the godfather of blues and gospel. And he's African-American. And that role opened up for me to meet Brian McKnight and Marla Gibbs, right? And I played alongside them. And that's when I heard words for them, for me to be like, stick with it. Somebody like that tells you that, it's like, okay, I must be somebody at that age, Right. My mom was encouraging me, but through that, throughout the years, the past, I want to say 12 years, I've had a catalog that I could say has been growing. It's not always been great in my eyes, but I was a Facebook sensation, out of high school, just remixing songs and stuff. Just like artists should, buy a mic and, just record stuff, whether it sounds stupid or not. I was getting stuff off of YouTube as well. We didn't know at that time.
Practicing.
Just practicing. I feel like after, and this is what I'm talking about, my break, when my break came. But before that, it was the part to where I was in between. Do I stay in church or do I just kind of like, break from it and do my own thing? Yeah. And I found out later that, my church, they supported me in everything I do. So that led me to start doing, my first song, which was called Throw It Back. And it was created by CP the Creator. He's a great musician, producer. And from there, I would say singles. Well, I have an album, a debut album. It's called Alone. That's my first body of work that I consider a body of work. Everything else has just been singles or songs or collaborations, and talking about tons of songs. My first big break came when I was working on TGT's album when they were first starting, to do that Tyrese Tank and Genuine, right? And shout out to my cousin Roshan Lyles, Jamie McGrone, Chris Kelly, rest in peace, and Devin Golder. And from there, like, I learned the formula, what to be as a writer, and it helped me as an artist. Sure. And since then until now, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. You can definitely follow me. That was just a short version. You can follow me at Dlylez, DLYLEZ. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as well. And that's pretty much a little bit, about me, man.
Dope. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Did you? I know Hector is probably fuming at the bit about the John Legend thing. Did you want to go there or no?
No, that's cool. That's cool. I'm not buying to any
we'll get
any
there.
contract. Yeah,
we'll get there.
Get there. Yeah.
I already know that. He's probably saying something.
I know that's his favorite. He hadn't said nothing yet. Yeah. He hasn't commented yet, but I know it's probably coming. So we'll get there. So what do you say? I'm not. He said F John Legend. That's good. All right. So we'll get there. We'll get to that story. But tell me kind of a little bit about when you're creating music. Like, what's your process? I'll start with you, Marcos. Like, what's your process? Like, I mean, obviously you play different instruments.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So this is gonna go back and forth, and Darius one up me and did his old resume there. But I currently play at my church, and I help a lot of other churches with the drum right now. And I'm playing the lead drummer for EDG, which is called Expresión de Gloria in Spanish, Expressions of Glory in English, and Cultura when we're ever together, Darius, Hector, and the group. is the culture. We get together and I play drums there.
Mm-hmm.
My inspiration came, and how I get inspired into it is going back to what my mom showed me. I can say that my mom is the reason why I listen to a whole mess of music, because growing up she liked Air Supply, Chicago, and kept on going back to Phil Collins and then putting some salsa merengue. So growing up I had all of this at my hand. I liked some songs, I didn't like some songs, I liked some rhythms, didn't like some rhythms, so I try to go back and pull from all of that. So a lot of the experiences comes from that. And of course, now with music evolving like ridiculously every 5 or 2 to 3 years, trying to keep up with everything. So content is coming out. I want to tell people that. Finally getting together and putting it together to put it out there. But my inspiration comes from that. Experiences, of course, without going too much into detail. My parents split up when I was in 6th grade. I was in elementary school. So I could have finished 7th and 8th. And then my whole world changed. I had to go to another school. And that tied into my writing process. Another thing with my mom getting involved with this gentleman. Long story short, turns out that he fooled us for 10 years and he was involved with like cartels and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it's a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I had to grow up fast. So most of those things is what inspires me to write.
Yeah.
That's for another day, another story. That's like in-depth stuff.
So what's your process once you do start writing? Like, if, I mean, are you, and I know it may be a loaded question with a bunch of different answers, but typically, like, how would you prefer writing? Like, do you just, because I know some people, like, I never wrote songs. I used to write poetry, and I would just, like, stuff would come in my head, and I would just write stuff down. Like, is that the same for you? Like, you just, ideas come in your head, and you just write stuff down?
Yes.
Or you need, like, a track? You need something to
everybody that
go.
knows me from high school now, and my wife right now, she's probably laughing. I used to walk around with tons of paper behind my back.
Yeah.
It got to a point that I used to sit down. It was kind of lopsided because I used to just grab paper and just jot things down and fold it, right, and put it. Yeah. So my back pocket was always like sticking out. So yeah, always write something down. And then I decide later if I'm going to add it to music or just keep it as poetry.
Okay.
But once I know that it's going to go to a song, then I'm just going to go at it to make sure that it fits the song and the arrangement. And then sometimes is reverse. I hear a song or I hear something and then just put it together and it just starts coming out. And what I am going to tell, a nugget for everybody, once you get inspired and you hit that aha moment and you're like, oh, inspired to write, do not stop until you finish. There's been many times that I stopped and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to go do this. I forget and I come back and the whole flow, the whole delivery, you lost it. So it sounds like when you record it, it sounds like 2 different songs in one because you could tell that the inspiration left you somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, and I can, I know too, sometimes that I'll be in a session and it'll be, where a lot of times I'm booked back to back. I can't do this, but there are times where, I'm in a session and I'm like, man, this is it. Like, we got there, but man, there's 10 minutes left. Like, if I have extra, I'm gonna say, okay, let's keep going. Like, because I know we got the goods that are coming right now. So yeah, that's definitely, I would agree with that. Like, I would never, if we finally got this groove going, like, I hate to be like, yo, we got to stop. This other guy's coming in. Because, that's just, it's like you said, it's hard to find that. Especially I find that, too, with mixing. When I'm in a vibe mixing, and if my wife is watching this, she's probably going to get pissed as well, too. But, there's nights I'll come home 2, 3 in the morning. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got in a vibe. Like, she can't understand. I'm like, I can sit here and, like, I just connect with this record and I'm just going in. It's like 9 o'clock and then I look up, it's like 3:30 and I'm like, oh shoot. Yeah.
That should be the slogan for you. A t-shirt. Got in the vibe.
Got in the vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
No, so I hear what you're saying with that. Cause there's sometimes, you just get there and you got to finish. Mm-hmm. What about you though, Darius? What's your process or what do you prefer?
I'd say it's been several different things, like, and that comes with me. For me, it came with just experiencing, just working with a lot of people and seeing how they approach it sometimes. And then, I put it all together, how it makes sense to me. I've grown that the music has to, like, the instrumental, whatever it is, it has to spark something, like the beat itself. If there was no words on it, could it stand alone by itself? Right. Before I even, that's what I'm listening for. And sometimes I may just be hearing a melody, or I just may, because I produce as well, so I just may just produce something, just put a scratch on something, and then it may spark for me. Not a lot of times I may write the song as the hook, and then I may go the verse. Sometimes I may write the song backwards. Like, let me start from the back first, and then see if I could build it up to the climax of the song,
Sure.
And which is usually that first 30 seconds when you're writing something that's got to catch that attention, right?
Yeah.
And that's usually how I do it, I don't force, whatever it is. Like, I may leave it. Like, if I know I have something good, like a melody as a scratch, I'll leave it, and then I'll come back to it. I don't want to ruin it,
Right.
And then a lot of times I come back to it, maybe I lost it. And then for some records, it's just like, yeah, I got it now. I really do I'm hearing it with a fresh ear.
Yeah.
Other times, I tell certain artists, just jot down what you hear, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then look at the lyrics, like what you wrote, and then piece it together.
Right.
Sometimes, we can't think of it, put it in a stanza, but we can write it out how I feel. I could definitely write that out.
Yeah.
And it may not make sense, but if I look back at it, now I can start taking the words or the lines and say, okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it varies, man.
Are you big? I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna still ask it.
Yeah.
Are you big on like doing scats, just like scratch? Like, you may have a melody like, and then just coming in and filling in the words. Like, you catch a melody, you don't have the words, but you just hear the melody and
because it
lay
works.
it down, and then you just come back and fill it in.
Yeah. And I had a studio session before with an artist. Her name is Kmar, and just learning how she works as an artist, and the room has to be totally silent for her to really like think or like write.
Right.
And me and my cousin Nova, we were trying to get her to mumble on the track, with the beat, so you can go back and listen to it. She was like, no, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so that was like, okay, that's something new. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
To sit in total silence,
right,
and just write,
not even listening to the beat or nothing. No.
Nothing, But that would, like I said, that's something new. Like, it takes that for me to see the other side of that. I may try that. Yeah. It may not work now because because I'm so in tune with the music of who I am when I want to do it. So it just depends. People's approach to it.
Yeah,
it's different ways. It's never the same. And if it is the same, there's something different about it.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
definitely. No. Well, if we can, I'll switch topics here. What we'll get into a little. Hang on. Let's see.
Who's writing?
I'm describing my writing sessions to a T. Okay, Ovid. He said we're describing his writing sessions to a T.
To a T.
Nice. So if there's any advice that you have, I know you gave a little bit about artists, making sure if you're in a vibe, stay in that vibe or whatnot. When it comes to, let's just say, working with producers, like what advice or what have you found that works for you? Like, do you just find a beat, find out who made it, pay, get it, you rip it off YouTube? Like, how do you go about, finding tracks, finding producers, stuff like that?
Definitely everybody has their own genre that they go to that you can say is their top genre, right? It's like, this is what I go to. Me is hip-hop. It's always been hip-hop. I know the whole argument about rap and hip-hop. To me, hip-hop is more lyrical, more poetry, right? Although growing up until elementary school, I was like hardcore rap, like DMX, like I knew all those verses, right? And that kind of helped, even though it was explicit, because you show flow from different people. And then that's when I started differentiating where they were from. Like, oh, I can tell this person's from New York. I can tell this person's from down south. And like, it kept on going, which made me evolve, like what kind of audience I'm trying to go to. But definitely when I first started, I was ripping stuff from, YouTube and doing the Off Liberty, all that other websites that were out there. But I stuck to that. And then we're talking about, in terms of process and all of that, that's my genre that I go to. And I just deviated away from what I was going to say.
Do you find it more comfortable, like working with an actual, like, producer?
that's what it was, right?
One on one, or just like finding them online. Oh, this is a dope track. Let me just buy it.
Let me just say that the day I found out J Dilla existed was the day he died.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if I could bring him back, that would be the person that I would have to sit down. Somebody gave me donuts and is like, listen to this. And I'm like, no lyrics from beginning to end. And I'm like, oh, I got to find out that he passed away.
Oh, wow.
And I would, work with a producer, find somebody that has your sound, that is actually going to listen to what you're trying to do and work with it because you guys are in sync, right?
Right.
The thing with producers nowadays is that you find so many people. You have young producers or people that say they're producers but don't have the equipment, and they're just trying to get their name out there. But find somebody that you can work with. It's cool to have different people to work with, but there's always going to be that one that you go to, and that's why, hence, Joe, we're here because we like working with you.
Yeah.
Well, building a relationship.
Yeah, but
Yes,
building that relationship and making sure that the quality of sound that comes out is exactly the message that you're trying to portray, and that the producer is paying attention to you in the booth and also saving things and, what's the word? Not magnifying, but making your sound more powerful than what it is,
Right.
I know what this person's trying to say. Let me magnify that.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're working with people and just ripping off, getting instrumentals and buying them like in the bulk and stuff like that, that's cool. But try to find somebody that you tune in with and make sure that you have people around you that tell you the truth, not yes men. Because you could think you have the dopest lyrics, but at the end of the day, I'm like, nah, change that. That's why.
right.
And I compare it a lot to, almost like a barber or, when you go into, you got that barber, you go in there, he knows what height to set your chair at.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just put the
apron on and you're good.
The apron on, and you ain't got to tell him nothing. He just goes to work.
Right.
That's like once you have that relationship, like you don't got to go in and say, hey, I like my snares. I don't like my kicks at this level. Like you got somebody, you just go in and you just say, okay, cool. Let's get to work. Like it alleviates that, like trying to figure stuff out. Right. Obviously, you go through that in the beginning, building a relationship with people. But once you have that, that's, to me, is where it's like that. Or me, I was always in the restaurant business before I did music full time. And I know I had certain people that would, I bartended, waited tables. I knew certain people came in. Okay, I know this guy wants a glass of Merlot. He's going to want this. So he comes in, sit down. I bring him a glass of Merlot. He doesn't even got to ask, Right. That's like that relationship that artists, producers should have as well. Like you said, I got to know what's going on with you in the booth. Like, okay, if I need to calm you down or, say something to lift your spirits or say something to, you definitely need that with producers and engineers, is having that relationship. But
right. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. I feel like, piggyback off what he said, when I first, for my debut album, I did this with a young man called Daniel Ivy, right? And right now he's working, with G Herbo. And I introduced him into like the industry side of things. But when I first saw him, I'm in a studio, my boy Dwayne Armstrong in his basement studio, right? And this guy was like young. He was like 17, 18 at the time, right? And he was playing a few beats, and the beats were just knocking. I've never heard anybody do their 808s or their kicks the way this kid did it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this kid is special. By the next time I saw him, I knew I needed to collaborate with this kid for my album, right? Yeah. And I chose him because I found a way to make a median for a producer and mold somebody with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what created my sound and make it sound that way. Like I just wasn't using him just to use him. Right. I was trying to build something, with him at that time.
Right.
And I did most of all the, the piano stuff and all the other stuff. And I wasn't great at, programming the drums. And so I let him do it. And so we found a way to meet, and the songs came out incredible, and I just kept using them, bro. And I think that that's so important to do, is take the time to really mesh with somebody,
Right.
It's cool to, rip stuff off. If you're a producer, kudos to you if you know how to make that stuff sound a certain type of way, to make it your own. But I even encourage, if you do play or have knowledge of it, produce yourself. Try to do it. At least try.
Yeah.
be careful when you're buying beats. You know, read the fine print. You know what I mean? When you're doing that stuff, you know, because it's tricky, man. I'm exposing this, man. Producers, they're not always about the artist. Yeah. Not always about the artist. No. Once they figure out a way to make that money, it's always, how can I get them? Right. You know what I mean? And you don't want that, you know. No. You know, but I encourage artists to have a sound mind about what they want and the audience they're looking for, and in choosing what they want to sound like, which would mess with that producer. Whoever you got, right, man, grow with them. Right.
Somebody that you can hit up and be like, man, I love this, but if we could change the snare, he's like, no.
Exactly. If you can't get in touch with you might as well not buy it, because that's a recipe for disaster. Right. You know, we've seen it over and over again, you know. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's okay, bro. It's okay. But that's why we still learn, man. Yeah. Like, you know, even now I feel like, you know, at the stage I'm at, I can still make a mistake. You know, we're always learning. Yeah. You know, we're never stop, you know. If you stop learning, you know, you start dying, you know, with that. So, that's really important, man. I encourage all artists out there, if you're listening, man, find somebody to grow with. That's the best way to do it. You know, don't just freelance, you know, just find somebody. Find somebody that's good, you know. I say pray on it. Yeah. That's what I say.
So if we can, I don't want to go into the whole the discussion about that, but I think that's a good
segue.
A good thing to talk about that situation and kind of the things that people should avoid. Yeah. Like, I mean, we kind of talked about it, but if you can, like, kind of, if you want to share a little bit of that.
So you guys need to learn the lingo of what is a lease and what is an exclusive. Yep. I knew what the difference was, and you also got to do the research on the person. So long story short, I'm not going to say the person's name. I should name drop him. But I purchased
Don't give him the attention.
Yeah, I purchased this instrumental from a gentleman. He sent me the MP3. I got the MP3 from him a while back. And since then, he's grown, and he's known to making beats in his MPC. And everything was sweet and dandy. I asked him if I could purchase the beat. Asked him what the exclusive price was, and it changed completely from what it was before. And, of course, he's grown with superstardom. So I asked him, let me get the track out. And for those who don't know what track out is the stems of the song, you know, so that the producer can work with it. Please do not go to a producer and bring an MP3 file. They cannot do a lot with it. It's very hard to work with that.
And it's not to my students out there. Audio is being stripped when it's converted from a WAV to an MP3. So you're losing. It's like going to McDonald's and paying for a burger and getting half of it.
That's it.
So please make sure that you have the right stuff. So long story short, this guy tried to sell me supposedly an exclusive track. I am like, you know what? I don't want exclusive. Let me lease it. Gave him the money. Send it to me to find out later that he already had released it in Spotify. So he was trying to jip me for X, Y, and Z amounts. He did take some money away from me, but he's no longer to be found, and I can't talk to him. So just make sure that you trust a person or know somebody that knows somebody that knows a person, because now in social media, everybody can show you who they are. It can be sweet and dandy. They can be cool, but they can be a snake. So just make sure that they're in the same state, especially because this person is nowhere here, because I would have gone to his house ASAP. But make sure that they're in the same state, and, like, again, you establish that relationship and talk, as Lylez has said, about making sure that he can make some changes to the track itself. And that they don't get offended. That's a good sign. If you write to somebody and be like, hey, I really like this, we're going to do business, can you change this for me, just this little thing, and they're giving you that silent treatment, don't pursue it. It doesn't matter how hot the beat is. Yeah, just don't do it.
Still be professional. It's just all about, you know, good work ethics, and, you know, just being, you know, professional in any setting. You know, if you can find somebody to grow with that's teachable, iron sharpens iron. You know,
coachable. Yeah.
You know, and so we're both trying to get better together. Yeah. You know, wherever I lack, you may have it. Yeah. You know.
No, it's it's funny you talk about that. I used to have a list of 10 things that require zero talent. It was on my fridge. Somebody took it down, but being coachable, being on time, being prepared, you know, stuff like that, you know, me as an engineer that's why I had it on my fridge, because I look at it every single day. Like, I got to be prepared. I can't think I know it all. I got to be coachable. Right. I got to be able to say, if I send you a mix and you say, hey, Joe, I don't think this is the best. I think we could. No, man, what are you talking? I can't be that. Okay, cool. Like, what do I got to do to fix it? You know, those are the things that at least from what I've seen, the people that have success in this business, you know, the people that think they know it all, and like you said, they're uncoachable.
Yeah.
If you think you already made it, and you're not selling out arenas and stuff like that, then what do you? How are you gonna take a step up if you think you're already at the top?
And that's the number one reason certain artists can't find producers to work with, because you know it's this relationship with producers and the artists where one thinks over the other, and they can't find that, you know. And I think first as the artist that we're here to learn, you know, in an arena that we don't know and some that we do, and whatever you don't know, scope the room or scope the situation first, and you know, and then put input, you know, and then I goes for the producer as well, you know. If you don't know anything about singing or rapping or being whatever on the track, you know, learn first and then give some input. You know what I mean? So that's the number one reason, bro. People, they go to YouTube and they start, you know, jipping beats. Because they can't work with nobody. Some rather not, which is crazy to me. That's insane. If I can't be hands on, you know what I mean, on the track with somebody, that drives me crazy.
No, me too. I mean, for artists, like I said, when artists come in with, it's like, man, you got the MP3, like we can't change nothing, like
you can add something to it.
It's just right.
We can't do nothing with it. Like I just gotta try and fit your vocals to this like badly mixed MP3.
Yes,
like,
yes,
it's cracking.
Right.
It's cracking.
Yeah.
Right, man.
Cool. No, sorry, I was smiling a minute ago when you were telling a serious story. So people, I wasn't laughing at his story, but Hector.
That's Hector saying that?
What Hector say?
He said he really did. He said he was talking about you. He said he had a ponytail.
He wants me to talk about that?
What?
That far back?
You had a ponytail?
He had a ponytail past his butt and carried a guitar.
Like Desperado.
Bro, a mullet? Almost?
Mullet, like Selena. It's like Chris, long hair type of thing. I'll show you a picture later. So everybody who's here can go to my pages, my Facebook page. You go back far enough, you'll see it. But yeah, that was the style, man. Getting long hair, getting braids. And then I was learning guitar at the same time.
See?
And I wasn't trying to get the ladies, although people thought that that's what I was trying to do. But
that comes with it.
But it did work. If you walk down a street at night, especially in Humboldt Park, and you got ponytail and your guitar, it looks like you don't mess around there.
Bro, I swear I was thinking about this before, and I'm glad Hector brought it up because he always brings it up in the studio, and I have like this mental image in my head of you with a long ponytail and a guitar just walking like a badass down the street.
Antonio Banderas.
And if I had background music to me, it would have been the Pheromones Simon Says.
That's priceless, bro. That's gold. That's gold.
Hilarious. I knew Hector would bring that in somewhere.
Shout out to Hector if you guys are on.
Yeah,
and just
Hector,
follow him, please.
We gotta have you call in here probably in a few minutes, so you can chime in, because I know you got some funny stuff to say and stuff you want to add too. But if we can, if you want to talk about your experience with The Voice and stuff like that, just because I have some questions on that too that people may want to know as well too. But if you want to, just share that real quick.
So I was on this on The Voice season 18, 2020, and that went from the whole process of it. It's a yearly process, and most of it is pre-filmed because of what they are doing, with all these different artists and how they have to cope with their schedules. And so they have a part that's live and then a part that's filmed to make everything easier. And I'll be honest with you, my plan last year wasn't to be on The Voice. I had no idea I was going to do that, So my friend Denton Arnell, he's from Chicago. He was on The Voice season 17. And I'm sorry, 16. I think it was 16 or 17. And he hit me up like, yo, producers at the show want me to, refer people. You want to be on The Voice, a tryout? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, right? I forgot about it. A month went past. I got an email. Bro, I thought it was spam, bro. I didn't look at that email for about 3 days, and it kept bugging me. So I looked at it, and I saw the bro's name. I was like, okay, well, maybe this is real. So I had a private audition at CRC, and the funny thing is, I was with my boy Richard Patterson. He plays guitar, and then we were there, and I was just having fun, bro. I started singing. They say if you sing more than 2 songs, you're going somewhere. If you sing one, they tell you they'll call you. You're not getting it, right? Yeah. So I'm singing on my 3rd song. I think it was like Stevie Wonder or something like that, right? And I saw like the cameraman, they were just dancing. They was just getting it, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm doing something. What got me in, and this is, I'm going to put a pin right there, artists, this is where you need to be prepared for anything, because you never know what can happen. My last song, the guy that was interviewing me, he was like, do one more song. And I told him I was doing River by Leon Bridges, right? Mm-hmm. He was like, wow, I really want to hear you sing this. I helped Leon get his deal at Atlantic. Wow. And so I was like, okay. I played it off. I didn't, I was like, okay, whatever, right? I started to sing. I didn't even make it to the chorus of the song. The man said stop. And I thought he was going to say like, because he did one of these, he was like, stop.
You're terrible.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say you're terrible. He was like, congratulations, you have an interview, have a nice day. And from there, that's when my story evolved from The Voice. And the day I actually was auditioning was the day that there was a lot. It was specific for a reason, and it's personal. And that day changed my life with how I think of that day. Mm-hmm. After losing my parents, and then after burying my mom, and that was the day of, and it was just something that came back, towards for me. Mm-hmm. And that whole process of The Voice, man, I've never met a staff of professional people in my life that cared about the artist. Yeah. That cared about what I did on the show, and when I was, leaving the show, people were just like, yo, we're going to miss you. It's important to have that personality too when you're working with people. Yeah. Because you never know what the type of impression you're going to leave. Right. And that's exactly what I did on The Voice. I left an impression with the people, the coaches, and the contestants. Yeah. And I was on Team Legend. John Legend and Kelly Clarkson turned for me. And in my mind, I knew I was going with John. But, if Blake and, Nick Jonas, who was on the show at that time, if he turned, I might give him a chance, depending on what he says. Never turned, and Blake never turned. And there was a reason why they didn't, and they were sorry about it. But I went with John because John, everything I practiced, John, he said it back to me. So I was like, yeah, you're listening. You're not just saying something because we're rolling and, you don't want to sound stupid, Right. And so that experience with my castmates, realistically, we're all there to sing. It's a competition. Mm-hmm. But also, we were all there for a specific reason. Right. And then most of them, were believers. They grew up in the church as well. Yeah. And so that's a lot that we had in common, that besides loving to sing, mm-hmm. So that made it more comfortable, for me to befriend everybody there. Yeah. So I felt home. The experience was really great for me, despite what people have seen, on the show, Yeah. I left, but, who says I was going to be on there forever? Right. You know what I mean? I used them as a business move to create something, that other people haven't seen. Right. And that is Lylez, no matter what I've done, that was my debut, I feel like. Sure.
So if you can, like, what are some things that, working, well, or at least working with John, mm-hmm. Legend, like, what are some things that he, that you got from him or you mm-hmm. picked up from him? Like, if you can share, like, what are some things that you, maybe he coached you on, or maybe you never knew, or like, what, if you can explain a little.
He, that whole time I kept hearing, even with Deborah Bird, who was another vocal coach, she kept reminding me, remember who you are, right? And John was very intentional with, coaching us. Yeah. He knew exactly what he wanted. And in that moment, even with him when I was saying it, was, remember who you are in this moment, just continue to be you. Because he never had critical, like, criticism for me. Sure. It was like, damn near, it just would have been perfect, but he was teaching me in that moment, even that you're at this stage, still be yourself. But then when you're doing it, because it is show business, be quick about it. Just be a little quick about it. And
what do you mean? What do you mean by be quick about it?
so if you're gonna make a decision, be precise but be spot on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, just be gold in that moment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he did that one time. It was for my battle rounds, and I was singing "Come Together" with Nelson Cade. And
good performance.
Yeah, great performance, right? One of the best performance I think to me, on the show that I did. And he was trying to figure out us to do like a harmony at the end of the song, and me and Nelson were just quiet, and it took him like maybe a few seconds. Don't know over me. He was doing all this right, and he was like, "I got it. So you sing this, and then you sing that," because you got to think about it. We're filming. We each have 30 minutes to rehearse. Yeah. So in that moment, that's what I learned. Okay, be precise, but be golden. Yeah. And he was precise and golden right there.
Meaning, make a decision.
Make the decision, and,
Yeah.
Right. And that was like the most golden, information I could have received as far as body language and intonation from him that I could. I learned a lot just in those few seconds.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely cool. The other question I have too is, and again, if you don't want to speak on this, you can. Not getting personal, but contractually, are there any contractual obligations or stuff that that you from going on the show that is holding you back from doing stuff? Because I've heard people say before, I've worked with artists before that have been on like The Voice and American Idol, and I know some people have said they've been kind of handcuffed in a way, and some people haven't. Like, is there anything like that, or did they like once you were off, they said, "Hey, you're free to go do what you want"?
Yeah, so there were stipulations, and of course they have the clauses and stuff, and they have timelines on which you can do, right? And so, first when you sign the contract, you do know that everything that you do, any artist out there, you have obligations to fulfill. So if they ask you not to post singing videos for right now, then that's what you just don't do, you know? And so I stopped doing it. I just post pictures and, to make it relevant because I wanted it to be a surprise on that end. Right. But as far as the contracts, I knew I had to give up something in order to get this opportunity. Right. But I tried to make the best out of it. And so the contracts, they made the contracts best for us at that time. Yeah. And so after that, it depends on how far you go in the season too. I made it far enough to where if I got off the season, it would only be a month to fulfill, or do what I wanted to do after that, contractual. So after the last season, I had at least until the end of the year, just to, if I wanted to, I could say NBC, look, I've been on the show, I'm still under your contract, I can do this. But I couldn't be on another type of show because I was still signed to NBC. So it's still for a year.
So did anything with releasing music?
I was good after that. After the month, after the show, the last episode, I had 10 days.
So and then I could release music for 10 days.
Yeah, okay. And that whole time I couldn't release music. The day I signed the contract from the audition,
you couldn't release anything.
Couldn't release music. Right. So we're talking 6 to 8 months.
Okay, so there was nothing music. Like, hey, after you leave the show, you can't release music for 2 years.
No. I think American Idol, they did something like that, but that's when they realized they couldn't. You really had to be the winner, and they weren't trying to concise the winner and just confine them in this one pocket, Right. And so my contract wasn't brutal at all,
Nice.
Hey, trust me, everybody that was, true artists that knew much about contracts, we were like, nah, y'all got to fix this. if y'all really want us, you want to cast us, you have to fix this. Help us. Right. Help us help you. Right. And they did that. Nice. Lawyers were great, bro. They were great. Nobody gave us any kind of crap about it, bro.
That's awesome.
That's because you guys knew the lingo and the jargon.
We knew it. We knew it. You
gotta be educated. Have somebody have a team. Have some people around you that can tell you what's up.
Yeah. And again, I always tell people, always have a lawyer.
Right.
With any contractual situation.
Keep one.
Yeah, have a lawyer. Don't, or not even have one, but just pay for one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's nothing to spend that $150, $200 an hour for them to review a contract and tell you what's what.
It's investment.
Right.
Investment.
Right.
Either you being negative 100,000
Right.
or owing somebody
Exactly.
something.
Because
Exactly.
all the lingo that, you know, they put into recording contracts and stuff like that, you don't know what the heck they're saying half the time.
Exactly.
You know, in perpetuity and this, that, like they're using words that
Right.
the average person doesn't understand. You just say, okay, you know, like when I had Gemstones on last week, he was talking about the contract. They're going to give me this, you know, X amount advance. Okay, cool. Like you just look at the money and say, okay, this, but you're not looking at, well, for 5 years, you can't do nothing or, you know, this.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, that's where I always tell people,
Exactly.
spend that money, get a lawyer.
You brought up his name before I forget. Shout out to Gemstones. Great interview.
Oh, yeah, you had a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Gemstones, if you're looking or you're watching this later, I actually came out as an extra in one of your videos. So this is The Gift. This is a song that he did for Christmas time. And
when was this? What?
Man, it's a while back, 20...
And when he was a gospel
3-4
artist?
years. Yeah.
With First and 15?
Yeah. No. Gospel artist.
Okay.
And the first song I heard from him was We On with Lupe, and that's a great song.
I remember you putting that, but I didn't have
Yeah,
much time to get a word in
dude,
there.
Crazy. But so I met a mutual friend we have, PJG. I'm just going to use his initials. You know who he is. He's all like, hey, I'm going to go see Gemstones. You want to come? I'm like, dude, Gemstones, D Gemstones? He's like, yeah, Gemstones. I used to hang out with him back in the day. He's like, yeah, cool. He's like, I already got another mutual friend. He was going to come out in the video as a cop. He's a cop that puts his face on the cop car or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, he needs some extras and stuff like that. You want to be a bum? And I'm like, what do you mean you want to be a bum? Like, yeah, we're going to be peddlers. We're just going to be out next to him as he's rapping or whatever, passing a sandwich around or whatever.
That's a funny name to me. I'm sorry. The peddler. It's funny.
Okay. Anyways, so then we go, and I do not have like holy clothes. And what I mean by that is like to work out, to go, is all pristine. And my wife is like, dude, just wear this to go that.
He's fresh all the time.
So then,
he's fresh all the time. All the time.
Because I give the clothes away, like, you know, it's for people to help other people, whatever. That's just me helping others, right? So then I show up, Gemstones looks at me, and it is him. I'm like, oh, crap, it's Gemstone. He's all like, you don't look like a bum. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't look like a bum? Like, dude, like, you don't look. I forgot what shoes I had on. Like, bums don't wear that. They don't have this and stuff like that. So on the spot, we had to find clothes or whatever and whip it up. So if you look up The Gift, Gemstones, the song, I'm one of the bums with him.
Yeah.
Just chilling on the side.
A cool
passing the
bum
sandwich around. Passing
with
the
fresh
sandwich.
haircut.
No. We had to cover all of that stuff. I'm telling you, like when I showed up. So it was funny. And then after that, after we shot, Black Noise, I think, shot that video.
Nice.
It was pretty good. Yeah, we went to Subway. And
Nice.
he drank soup.
He drinks.
He drinks.
Yeah, that's that. But one thing I want to say, I don't want to take away. One thing about Darius, just adding on to what everything in his experience. One thing I could say about him, and I told this before, he works with anybody. He doesn't look to you as above, beneath. It doesn't like you're all family, and I can say that you're gonna hear of him, or if you haven't heard of him, because he's featured in so many people's songs, and people want to work with him. And the first experience I had with him, he started doing the acapella videos. So again, if you're not following him, please follow him. And back then, the quality of the phones was a little bit less. And I remember I ripped this. Actually, I was trying to rip it from your Instagram page, and it wasn't working. So then that's when I wrote to you, and I'm like, hey, I met you the other day through Hector. Yeah. Do you have this by any chance? He's like, yeah. And he sent it to me right away. Like, oh, here goes. I'm like, why? And I'm like, oh, I feel inspired. And then I went to the bathroom. We were watching a movie or whatever, and I didn't leave the bathroom until I finished writing, which is the Lady remix, the D'Angelo.
D'Angelo, yep.
Yeah, so then that's another way to inspire, talk about writing process. He had the product. I got inspired. I wrote on top of it and made my rhyme fit around anything without changing anything that he sent. Because then we ripped the video into an audio file and we used an MP3. Yeah. And since it was vocals, you could move stuff around, like move it a little bit.
Right.
And then I added all the other elements to it from what I was hearing. But I didn't want to bother him because I thought that the quality work that he did was great. So also finding people that you can work with that meshes well together. and I send them what I had, and then we recorded it and stuff like that. So the video that you see, the quality is bad because it's shot in an old camera, but the audio, we actually went to the studio and did all of that stuff. So
I invite it, and I think artists, you should too. People always want to make it just about them. Like, nah, I'm good. Now, and I can see sometimes it's the business. There's certain things you can't do, but
right,
man, him doing that, that inspired me. That made me happy. Like, you want to rap over my voice, you know what I'm saying? So I invite people to do it. If I gotta inspire you, or that's what I like, to bring the best out of you, to help you go along with that. And that's why I do those things, the harmony videos and stuff like that, so people can just be like, get excited and get about something, especially now.
Bro, I just thought about it. We were trendsetters. We were doing the TikTok thing before TikTok happened.
Yeah, before TikTok happened, it was trend setting it, what I mean? So like, that's what it was, so man.
Flipped on camera.
Flipped on camera.
Cool. Well, Hector wants to call in, so
let's do it.
So we're gonna have him call in.
Shout out to Hector Dominguez. Go follow him.
Just don't cuss, Hector.
Yes, please. How's this work?
All
you
right.
haven't connected?
You there?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, look at that.
All right.
We hear you.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? Before we do anything, my kids got something to say.
What's up?
Hi,
Hey,
Joe.
Hey.
there.
Marcos and Data.
And Day Day, we said hi. And Marcos and Day Day, who just
Bedtime. Bedtime.
Weren't you on the Grammys? Was it Anthony? Are they confused you with
Anthony Anderson, bro.
Anthony Anderson.
Darius. Yeah, I thought I was Anthony Anderson, man. That's hilarious.
They saw me watching the feed, and they were like, it's like it's bedtime. They're like, please let us say hi to them. And I'm like, all right, guys.
Cool, man. So how you been? What's going on?
Surviving, man. I'm just enjoying just watching my guys, man, just shine right now, bro. It's freaking crazy, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. This is overdue for Marcos.
Yeah.
Super overdue. This is overdue for Darius. Darius is supposed to be running Chicago by now.
It's Chicago.
But yeah, I'm just happy guys up there winning, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, G.
So for those who do not know, Hector Dominguez,
we're gonna have him on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take him away from shortly.
But yeah, no, go ahead.
No. Like, then I won't talk about him per se. I'll just talk about my experience with him. Met him. He doesn't know this. I wrote to him this the other day too. He inspired me. Like, he's the king of writing a song with no hook.
Right.
Like, he'll go from the beginning to the end and write no hook. So then that was something that he was working on, but he came over to our church through a youth group and started battling and stuff like that. And what we call battling, because you can't battle in the church, right? Just showing what you had. But I do remember one of his lines. He says, "Your hair's so nappy, even Moses couldn't part it." And doing stuff like that. He's very witty. But shout out to him. He encourages us every time, and he's a good guy to have on your side.
Yeah, man. I first met Hector through my cousin Aisha, and she was saying that somebody needed a hook done, and there was a singer that Hector, I guess the guy wasn't responding or whatnot, and I came in and heard it, and I did what I could, and the guy was incredible. He is incredible. And I did what I did, and Hector was like, I want to use you. I like you because of, your spirit and how you did it, and from there on out, it's been what, 4 years already, Hector? We've been constantly working, so it's been coming up with, content, since then. So shout out to bro. He's a cussing sailor, and he loves God.
He does.
And yes, that's it.
I am too. I'm a cussing sailor too. I'm not gonna lie. I love Jesus too, but
What were you saying?
I said that you guys are just incredible, man. I'm just so in awe. It's crazy that you and Darius are working on music together now, bro. That's nuts to me.
Yeah, and that song is crazy too.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Cannot wait till that comes out.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I can't wait to do the cover art for it, man.
Yeah, so
I gotta be a part. song some way, somehow, bro.
Yeah, the story about that one producer that tried to jip me. Well, something came out of it. So
Yeah, something came out of it, man.
F you.
Right.
And that's what happened. That's what happened between me and Darius. Somebody robbed me, and Darius like, "I got you back, bro." And he jumped in and killed everything.
Yeah, man. I gotta be careful, man. You know what I mean? It's, bro, because realistically, like, people are just out here. You know what I mean? Like, when you think people that have your best interest in something, they're just trying to get paid. Most of the time, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes if I'm getting paid, I want to give you the most out of it. And I want to eventually grow into a friendship with that, you know? I find that better to have friendship with people, you know? I don't do that with everybody. I have to sit back and, you know, and depending on me first meeting you and how we talk, you know, how we gel, then I know, like, okay, you're a person I can talk to. But most people, you can't do that. So, you know. It goes back what I was saying earlier. Artists, find somebody you mess with, man. You know, you know.
I got a question for Darius.
Oh my God!
All right,
it's a kid show, dude.
Marcos, I got a question for Lylez. My bad, for Lylez. When is Power coming out, bro?
We're just talking.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Because Marcos just asked me about that in the car. So
put Marcos on it.
No, he will be on it. The thing is that one is going on another album because the new album, it has nothing to do with it.
Circle 2030.
Yeah.
Bro.
Huh?
You gotta show Joe that song before you leave.
I got you. I'll play it for him.
Please, bro.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I saw you comment about it.
That's special.
Yeah. Nice.
It's my favorite song, Darius. My favorite song it is.
Yeah.
And it's not finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's got to be good then.
Yeah, it's good.
No, it's fire. And then I got
It's crazy.
What's the question?
Remember,
my wife is on.
Uh-oh.
Listen. How was your transition from God's Family to Hood Hope to being a solo artist?
So God's Family was something that we're putting together. This is when I met Hector. We had a guy.
We were 12.
Shout out to Will. And I was letting my hair out. It's called God's Family. Will's energy monster. He's like the hype man of hype mans. Yeah. Well, you guys will meet him one day. But from transitioning from there, I was just dabbling with the waters, seeing that how I could mesh with people and finding how to work and collaborate. And that didn't go long because he ended up moving, and there was another gentleman there named Jimmy. We all just parted ways. So then Hector, I linked up with him again, and then we did Hood Hope, and then that didn't work out.
That's my fault.
No. No. At the time, and this is what I tell him, at the time, it was just like, was it the right thing at the wrong time is always the wrong thing. And at that time, we were very young. So there was a lot of egos who could rap the best, who could control this and stuff like that. Who has the first verse, who's closing the song, who's the guy in the middle, who's doing like all of that stuff. And we didn't know how to communicate that. So I guess we were all trying. Go ahead.
I always stole the break. Always.
You always what?
I always took the best part of the beat.
Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. Like,
That
we
lets
didn't
you
know
who it was.
who was in charge.
Just
right?
tell it on yourself.
Yeah. So because of that, we just parted ways, politically correct, I guess. We just did that.
No beef.
Yeah. Well, I love you, bro. And
They grilled it up and they ate it.
Yeah. And we just linked up again. I reached out to him because I was following him still. Hector is on mixtape. I don't know what. There's only been how many years that passed, and you got like 40 mixtapes,
right?
So I always had a copy.
He's a Christian Lil Wayne.
I always had a copy of it. It always landed on my lap, and I always heard it. So I always supporting from afar. And then once he started releasing his stuff, and I saw that he was getting people a following, and he was doing good and good quality from what we used to have, I'm like, dude, I need to talk to him because this is what I'm trying to do. So then we linked up, and actually the first time we met up and we're in the studio was at Classic Studio, and we were doing Lady. I invited him because I really wanted him to be like, do this, do that. This doesn't sound good and stuff like that. So he's always been somebody to have in your corner. So transitioning out, having a team is very important. And I appreciate you, Hector, for pushing all of us and pushing me. But yeah, it's tough because you got to think about promotion for yourself. So jot this in, guys. Have a team, have a marketing department. You need all of that stuff, and just channel it within you guys so that you guys are releasing good quality work.
Right.
We don't want numbers. We want good content. Right.
Yeah.
So stop uploading terrible quality music. I just I can't fathom the fact that all these people distribution allow you to put that up. Like it should go through a wall and be like, dude, my ears hurt because this is terrible.
Right.
Go through Joe because I didn't even know my music was trash until I heard Joe's stuff, and I was like, wait a minute.
No, it's crazy because I know before that you talk about that, the recording. I've been a part of the Recording Academy for since 2012.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
9 years.
Yes.
Legend.
When I first became a member, they would let anybody. So you could literally record like 11 songs in your basement. Put them on, DistroKid. They didn't have DistroKid back then, but you could put them on TuneCore, CD Baby, and they're online. And Recording Academy would let you in as a voting member. And I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, so all you got to do is just like buy $100 mic, record in your basement. Now you could vote in the Grammys.
That's crazy.
Since then they've obviously made it a little more strict, which I'm happy of because it's like, okay. Again, I'm not trying to say it should be exclusive and we don't need, but yeah, like you said, I mean, there should be some level of like integrity when it comes to like putting out quality music. And I'm not talking about music we don't like or our opinions on music, but I don't think quality is an opinion. I think we can all hear like good quality or bad quality, right? If things are distorting and you hear, the bedroom fan going in the background, like that's not good quality.
Sirens.
Exactly. So all kind of stuff. Yeah.
No, your quality's amazing, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. That's again,
Tell me. Yeah.
I'm not pride myself. I'm not prideful of it, but that's the thing with me. I'm not afraid to spend money. I'm not afraid to bet on myself. Because I know that's what, like, Marcos, you text me the other day, you're about sound first, money second. Yeah. I am. Like, I want to put out good stuff. Like, and that's the thing that frustrates me a lot of times is because artists don't realize, like, man, the amount of money I spent on stuff. I don't rap. Like, I'm not doing it to make my music sound better. I'm doing it to make your music sound better. And that's the thing is like, man, people come in, all the disrespectful comments and messages, emails and stuff I get. It's like, dude, I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing it for me. If I stop doing this today, like, I don't need the stuff I have. I don't need the mics. I don't rap. Like, I'm not doing it. There's a lot of engineers out there that do. They are artists themselves, and then they do engineering on the side to pay the bills because music doesn't pay the bills. So, and they're doing stuff for themselves. Me, I'm not buying $10,000 mics for myself. I'm doing it because, hey, this is gonna make you sound better.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, is gonna come back to me eventually. Business wise, obviously. This is still a business. I still got to pay the rent and mortgage and whatnot on this place and stuff like that. But
and not to say that if you're listening and you're starting and you don't have a job, just barely paying your bills. I'm not saying don't release anything. I'm just saying come up with a budget, put something aside, save money, put something aside, and you'll see the return on it 100-fold.
And that's the thing. People get too eager, and we're all guilty of it. Like me, if I see something like. Whatever, if me and my wife are looking at, man, like this, bathroom sink looks dope. Well, we want to get it right now, but realistically, you got to think like, okay, do we have the budget to get it right now?
Exactly.
Like, can we afford to get it, or are we going to throw it on a credit card and, put debt on ourselves? You have to think about that realistically as a musician. Sure. That's going back to what you were saying about having a mic at home. Yeah. Being able to lay that down. Yeah. Like, that's what I encourage all my clients is like, man, even if you don't have a mic, you got a telephone. Yeah. Like, you have multi-track recorders on iPhones now.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you this, and I was telling Hector this. Hector couldn't believe me when I said it. Around the time about 3 years ago when because I haven't had iPhone that long, and GarageBand on the phone has has features that are not really on the actual, program itself, but they did it. They, redid the beta for it. And so I would upload my instrumentals in there and I would be recording like my roughs because I couldn't get to the studio at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like there's really no excuse not to do it. I think you have to search it, learn it, and just do it. It's only for you at that moment.
Right.
Until you're able to budget and actually go into a professional studio and get it done. You know, everybody can't be Soulja Boy. Everybody can't be such and such that had no choice but to do it at home, and then it blew up. But I mean, have some type of I want to say some, ethic about yourself that I do want to stand among, one of the greatest, songs to be out that sounds good.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. And I'll ask this question to all three of you guys. Cause to me, I look at it, I get a lot of artists that say, no, I got to record it today. Like I got to record it. It has to be done. And again, going into if you're in the vibe, but to me, I feel like, okay, you should be able to record it on your phone, get the idea down, but you should be able to relive that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because the way I think about it, what if you're doing a live show? Like, if you did get in the studio that day and you capture that magic, now you go do a live show and you can't recapture that, what are your fans going to think? Like,
right. It's a strong feeling. Go ahead, Hector.
Yeah. Can I tackle this one? Because I got laundry to finish. And I don't want my wife to divorce me for a white guy.
White guy.
So for me personally, I am a better performer on stage than I am in the booth.
Okay.
For most people, it's the opposite, right? They're boring on stage and they're really hype in the booth. I'm the opposite. I just don't know why that is. But for me, I come from a time where I got to pay for studio time, right? So I have to, for me, I have to practice as much as I can before I get there because otherwise I'm throwing money away, So I really try to hone my craft before I even get to your studio, Joe. And even when I'm there, you're in there, you see how I get down. Like I'll mess up and I get so frustrated at myself because I had it perfect in the car 20 seconds ago, And it's just like, man, so like I think for me, that's my mentality, man. Like I'm like it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing because I don't go in there, I don't play around. Like I'm not in there messing time up. I'm not in there. I literally use all 120 minutes. Like I'm not in there messing around for 30, 40 minutes and then trying to rush through a song, But then the bad part is like I'm my worst critic. So it's like, man, this was trash. Oh my God, this sucks, man. And then I'm like, now I gotta go in here and I gotta book a whole nother studio session to fix this part when I could have got it right. So for me, it's just practicing as much as you can. And when Darius told me that about his phone, I'm like, boy, you lying. And then I found an app called Telly that Joyner Lucas brought out, and I'm like, yo, you can really record on your phone.
Yeah.
So I record all my riffs on there, send it to Marco, send it to Darius. What you think? What you feeling? And then take their input, put it back into my music, and just try to do the best, man. But I do want to say I love you guys, man. Joe, I love you for real, man. Like you've really helped me a lot. Marcos, ya tú sabes lo que es. Darius, I love you, bro. You Dominican in real life. I know you think you black.
Yeah.
The D&D Lylez is Dominican.
Dominican.
Dominican Darius, Latin Lylez. But Darius got a dope little hoodie on. What is that, Darius?
So Hector helped me out with the design, and it says no algorithm formed against me shall prosper.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah, and so
one of those, bro.
Yeah.
Take that HGA shirt off and put on one of those.
You don't like KB?
Of course I do, but I like Darius more.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna buy one of those hoodies. I'm gonna visit your shop.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
All right.
Love you guys.
I'm gonna make him something exclusive.
All right, Hector. Talk to you later.
Bro. All right, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and Hector was just saying he is not saying that he isn't, but he feeds off the energy of the crowd, and he's really good at that. One thing I'm terrible at is being fans of everybody around me. So like when we do perform live, thank God I'm in the drum sometimes, but if I'm spitting a verse, I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at the people performing instead. I'm a spectator, which is cool to be a fan of people, but we feed off of that. But yeah.
yeah. Because Hector said that to me one time when he was like, every time we're on the stage and we're doing a song together, he's never paying attention. He's looking at me because he's like, oh my God, bro, you sound, bro, pay we're live right now, bro. Just go pay attention, bro. He's like, oh my God, you did that run so good. I'm like, man, bro, you got to pay attention, bro. We're performing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's the funny thing about it. But, you know, this is the last time I'm going to let you talk, Joe. What Hector was talking about with, you know, like recording, right?
Right.
I started out with Classic, you know, Chris Classic, right?
Yep.
And it was around the time when Chance was there and when Elton, who's still there, and then Smino and a few other people, right? And Classic would let me come in for free and record, right? Because he rocked with me, like, you know. And this happens with some artists. I know you have this relationship if you had it. Yeah. He rocked with me so much, he gave me, you know, a few hours. He'll say, take 4 hours here, take 4 hours there.
Yeah.
I would literally take 30 minutes to record each song because I knew I didn't want to take advantage of his time.
Right.
Right. So I had to 30 minutes ripping it. I already knew what I wanted. I'm ripping it. Right.
Yeah.
That made me appreciate when I was paying for the sessions, how I wanted to do my time or spend my time doing what.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it taught me budget and time management with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
It's like, if you have people that rock with you, build those relationships there so you can be blessed with something like that.
Definitely.
You know, and that's important, you know, speak up and network, you know. It's important to.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of artists were scared to, but you got to because, you know.
And that's the thing too. Like a lot of clients I work with, and I don't want to put my business out there, but clients I work with know they get deals, they get discounts, they get, you know, and it's the thing is it's funny because a lot of people will call like having never worked with me or whatnot and be like, hey bro, let me get a deal. You know, it's like,
hello, who are you?
What? Yeah,
bro,
you know,
we ain't done nothing yet.
I would say,
I mean? Like,
I would say come to you first, right? And then if you feel like, man, dude, you dope, like, bro, whatever, I got to get you back here to work. Let's work. Right. I'll do this for you. Then there's the setup, but you know, you can't go thinking I'm gonna get a deal right away. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny. I think it was T.I. that said it. Somebody may have said it before.
Expeditiously.
He said it about a woman. A woman who asks for everything will get nothing. A woman who asks for nothing will get everything.
Everything.
You know, and I apply that to, you know, clients. Like clients who are constantly, hey, let me get a deal. Let me get a deal. Like, bro, I ain't never giving you a deal. Yeah. But clients who don't ask me for a deal that do business, I'm throwing them deals left and right. Like, because again, I rock with you. Like you know, it's not like you said. It's not all about the money. I got to pay the bills and make sure stuff is paid. But I'm not hurting for money at the moment. So yeah, there's times where it's like, okay, I've had a good month. Yeah, cool.
But it was out of respect. You know, I felt like let me just still let me pay now because I know what it is now. You know, let me do that. And he respected me for that. And everybody I work with, they respected me for it. Yeah. Even though you told me for free. But, you know, now it's a business and I'm knowing that, you know, I started to understand that it's a business. I have to. You got things that you need to show for. I'm going to help you.
Right. And that's why I like doing a lot of stuff like, you know, with Hector and you guys too as well, where, you know, I charge you a rate for mixing, but I take my time doing it. Because I don't want to say, okay, well, book 2 hours, you know, pay for those 2 hours and get it done in those 2 hours. I'd rather have like 4 or 5 hours for me to work on it, take a break.
Right.
You know, come back to it, take a break. You know, that's why I like being able to do that because I can really, and people always ask, like, what are, you know, or I forget who asked me this question or whatnot. Like, I think it was my boy Tim, shout out Tim Streets. He's like, you know, how
my boy, yeah.
People, how do you get these mixes or, you know, stuff like that? And it's like most of the time it's because I'm not on the clock. Like, sure, I'll charge somebody, say, hey, I could do this in 2 hours, but I'm probably going to take 4 or 5 hours to do it, right? Because I can come back to it. I'm not like strictly limited to, okay, you're coming 6 to 8, we got to get it done 6 to 8. Like, cool. Most of my mornings, that's what I'm doing during the mornings. If I'm not teaching students, like, I got a list of songs, you know, that clients paid for mixes for, and I'm taking my time mixing them, you know, trying different stuff I couldn't do, like, if I was limited to the time that we had. So, you know, and that's, again, if I can give advice to artists too, my job is to make the artist comfortable. When they're in here, I want to make sure hey, they're not waiting on me. Like I copy and paste a hook like that, you know, or can move stuff over there. An artist should never be waiting for me. I shouldn't be on my phone while they're in the booth.
Man,
recording.
bro. Man.
There's so many engineers I've seen like having conversations. The artist is like talking back in the mic, like, "Yo, stop it," and engineers sitting here like not even listening. Like, Like no, like artists need to have that. They need to have that comfortability. They need to know like, hey, Joe's paying attention, whatnot. But artists too, I always say like artists need to have that same respect and whatnot for engine. Like, you know, like you guys, Joe, how are you comfortable? Like, do you want just okay? You mix it on your own time, cool. Like, you know, there's some people that like having people in there, but you know, once I know, especially like with Hector, I know what Hector likes, you know, like when I was mixing his project and stuff like that. So he didn't have to be here. Like he didn't have to be over here telling me, hey, do this, hey, do that. It was simple. I, you know, took my time doing it. You know, he didn't pressure me or nothing like that. You know, I spent more time than obviously what I charged him for doing it, but I don't mind it because I get to make it the best possible instead of rushing it through. You know, and then it's just, okay, send it here, make a few adjustments, send it back. So yeah, that's something I always tell artists too is think about, you know, if as you're building these relationships, figure out what makes your producers happy, what makes your engineers happy as well. Because you want to make them comfortable because they're working on your music. You know, you don't want to put them under pressure. Especially too, a big thing I always say is with, you know, want lines, not deadlines, but just want. Like, again, we all want stuff right now. I'm sure there's no better feeling than finishing a song and being like, man, I want to get this finished. You know? So everybody's like, I need this done tomorrow. And it's like, do you really though? Like, would you rather wait like 2 or 3 days and get it done properly and instead of like just rushing it? Because most of the time when I do those sessions, hey, can we fix this? Can we fix that? And you know, it never ceases. So it's, you know, people getting past this want line. Music is new. Like if nobody's ever heard it, it's new.
It's new.
You could have made the song 5 years ago. If nobody's heard it and you release it today, it's new.
It's an exclusive.
Right.
Exclusive.
People would be like, oh, this is old. Who to you?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, right?
You know what I mean?
So there's no rush in putting music out, especially if you're climbing this ladder. Like you don't climb the ladder off quantity, you climb it off quantity or off quality. At least in my opinion. Like people aren't saying, well, this guy put out 100 trash songs, let's sign him. No, they say, man, he's got 5 amazing hits. Let's get him. You know,
100 is gonna hit or miss. It's gonna hit or miss.
Right.
You know, but you make that solid right away. You got it. You got it.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that project or on that side subject, of the subject as well too. But yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
You guys got we'll close out here shortly. I mean, you guys want to talk about anything you got coming out or coming up?
Yeah. So I just want to talk about the track that we're working on, Darius and I. The title may change, but it's good. Keep an eye out for that.
It's a good song.
Shout out to my cousin Luis Rivera on the guitar. Shout out to Darius for listening to the riff. My cousin sent the riff to me. I sent it to him. I played it in the background actually, and he's like, "What is that? Send it to me now."
Send it to me now.
Then he came with something else, so something beautiful came out of that. But listen to it when it does come out. And there's more content coming out. To be determined, not to be determined. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that song with Marcos that's coming out, which is dope. Shout out to my boy Gianni Blue. I got more music coming out with him. I'm working on an album, finishing that up, as well as finishing up another album that's after that. And then, you know, I'm working on a producing album too, just strictly just instrumentals, you know, because I play the keys and people want me to perform keys more. So I'm gonna try to be on the lines of Kiefer. You ever heard of Kiefer, the producer? Kiefer, Monty Booker, K Tronada, you know, all of these producers that, you know, Sango and, you know, these people that have this, you know, yearn for just production. And I'm transitioning into a lane of that's lo-fi and R&B. I'm trying to mesh a lot of R&B in different subgenres. You know, I'm trying to bring it all back to one. You know, so I've got that coming up. I encourage you to follow me on my YouTube. Darius Lylez, DariusLyles, and follow me on my other social media. It's Dlyles, DLYLES. Follow me on Spotify. You know, follow me on Tidal, wherever you stream music. I have a lot that's coming out, and I'm making it special. I'm really making this special because there's something that I do have a message, and I'm trying to bridge the gap, and that's what makes me so special or stand out as an artist. You know, I'm trying to bridge the gap with things, you know, because there's a disconnect between young and old.
Yes.
And I felt like that right there, if we bring that together, then we can begin to go over to the next side of what music should be, what generational wealth should be, and how we could connect that to music.
Definitely.
You have to honor the past.
Yeah,
have a better future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Well, before we go, I just want to bring something. I heard you guys talking about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about this Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Man.
Yes.
So yeah,
I heard about that the other day, and I was like,
yeah, man.
yeah.
So we love music, and shout out to both of them. So
Man,
I told Darius in the kitchen of the studio, I'm like, we didn't even know you guys are friends. Like,
Right.
you guys don't have no pictures together.
No
We know we're
pictures
so,
together,
like,
you know what I'm
we just have, but it's crazy. It's gonna be
Yeah,
bananas.
and Bootsy Collins, legendary
Yeah.
Bootsy Collins is gonna be there. You
Yeah.
know, so like that's what I mean too, like bridging that gap. They went back for Bootsy, and Bootsy is he's the funk.
Yeah.
You gotta have the funk, man.
Man,
you know, especially
dude.
when you're talking about Anderson .Paak and you know Bruno.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta connect that funk with
Man.
somebody that's been out there doing it.
That's
you know?
going to be crazy, man.
It's gonna be crazy, dude.
That's going to be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
I
It's
look
a whole
forward
nother-
to that.
Whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's gonna go gold. It's gonna go platinum.
Yes,
It's doing it. It's doing it.
No, definitely. It's
doing
definitely
it.
will. Yeah, I'm just excited about that. And I heard you guys talking about it, so I thought
Yeah.
I'd bring it up.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
sir.
no, yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Thank you.
Definitely, if you guys missed it, again, it'll be on YouTube tomorrow. I'll share the links with that, and so will these guys, I'm sure. But,
For sure.
But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you, everybody that commented. I think we touched on most of the questions, but definitely appreciate you guys. Another episode. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys.
Thank you for having us. Please go follow
sir.
Military Studios.
Definitely,
Please
yeah.
follow Joe.
Follow these guys as well,
Yeah.
man. Definitely, you know, like I said, Marcos doesn't have a lot of music out yet, but he's got stuff coming out.
Mhm.
Darius has got stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely two very talented guys.
Thank you.
I have the honor of working with. So yeah, definitely keep a lookout. I'll be sharing links to the stuff as they release it as well. But yeah, definitely
Mhm.
follow them.
Yes, sir.
And you guys have a good night.
All right,
Sir,
guys.
good
Have a
night.
good one.
All right, guys.
Dope. That was dope, guys.